All right, so today we are going to learn about um, mock and patch and using PyTest. So mock and patch are an integral part of testing whenever you have to test an individual function where we are not able to control the values of it when we are going through the flow. But instead of explaining how it works, I want to show it through code and examples so that we can have a better understanding. And that's how I learned it in the last couple of days. So just want to do that. I just want to also give exactly what we are expecting. So let's say this is the area of a circle, right? So we know it's pi r square and pi value is a constant. Now, if instead of this, I want to use pi and I would have to define that pi. So thank you, Copilot. And now what I will do is I'll just import PyTest first of all. That's of course needed. And then I want to also import or from sample code import area of circle. Great. And now what I can do is I can test test area of circle. Great. But I need a mocker. So this mocker will be the one which will help us. So, oh, it's already giving us the code. Let me just try it. 3.14, 12.56. So we can also do 3 and then this should change to 3 and then this should change to, okay, yeah, 12. And then and if I again add, first let's test this just to see what happens. And if we run this, it passed. Great. So obviously I did this before, so I know it will pass. But the point is that now if we change this to, or let me just change this to 3.14, right? And then I can do one more assert, right? 3.28.26, whatever. And let's run this again, and that also passes. So basically, we have no idea when we are testing what they are expecting pi to be. So I'm giving a sample value to this to patch it so that this function does not get stopped even though the pi value is defined elsewhere. So that's how patch works. So now let's look at a mocking function. So for example, let's take a different example. So I'm going to just put all these functions in one class so they're all in one place. That's easier for me to handle. So let's say it's a file handler thing, right? So I want to create a file name str something something with open. Let me just do it here. File name w so as f. So we will open a file name, whatever the file name we give, and in a write mode, so it will rewrite everything if it already was there and create a new file if it wasn't, and then it writes hello world into that file. So that's what we are doing here. Great. And then let's have one more function. Well, close, but I want to remove a file. Let's see. So file name string, it takes as an argument, and then it tries to import OS. So that's pretty smart, but I'm going to just move this here because I like all my import statements in one place, which is at the top of the file. Well, I didn't know if this would work, but probably it would. But so that's what I'm doing, right? Now it's a very simple code which either creates a file or removes a file. Now, if I want to test this, okay, so here, let's create a, for testing the create file, let's do that function first with mock, and of course we'll have mocker again here. Now it's already giving me a bunch of code. Now let's do a little slower. So what I'm going to so we create a mock open function. Mock open creates a mock visibility open function, and then the test what we're doing here is making sure that we're calling create file. So we call file name as test. So let me remove this part as well. We can do mock.add, sample open, mock open, and then we create file. Oh, this is hard. Mock open is a helper function in Python's unit test mock library, and it is particularly useful when you need to simulate file operations in your tests. So as you can see, we are trying to create file and remove file. So we are assuming that this will be helpful to create that. So mock open creates a mock object that can replace the open like function where it's called directly or used as a context manager. It helps to ensure that your file handles are closed properly by simulating the behavior of open. And how do we use it? So let's try using it. So as you can see, mock open, we created a small like a mock variable which has mock open as its function. We patch the sample code open. So whatever is happening here will be taken care by mock open now. And once that is complete, we add file name. So we can add a sample file name here. Delete our text or something, and we give that file name back here. So now this file name, now create file, so we'll add that shortly. But this file name is a sample file name which we gave here. And now we are assuming if we did not give this mock open, it will just try to open it directly. And if exists or doesn't exist, we don't care. It will, what do you call, try to open it. But now it doesn't exist, right? So that might fail. Now, so what we can do here is mock, you can call it mock open or mock file, whatever we want, and we can assert, my bad, that's horrible, called once with file name. Now this is an existing function within this library, so you can check that, and it's called with the right function or not. So basically we are trying to open this file with the right method. Now this won't create anything if we don't want to create a lot of it. And then we can also do, oh, okay, so it already got it, and we want it to assert once called with hello world. Okay, now create file doesn't exist right now, so let's import it, test it uh, with the mock area function. So test area is what we are running, right? Not test area, we want to test code. So code.py, great, passed, awesome. So what happened here? Let's go over it again. So we create a file name. We don't want to create this file name actually. So we call a mock open function, which is mimic anything which is trying to open it. And then we patch it saying that, okay, instead of actually opening it, use mock open. Whenever we call open, we create file, and then the file name does not get created because we have a patch. But now when we want to assert that it is called, like if it's the open function is called, it's called with the w method, like it's trying to write it or something. And then we also call that if it is called, we write hello world. That's what it's being uh, doing. So now if I change something here and try to run this, it will fail because it says that that's not how it's been called. So so in a way, we don't want to actually build open, but we just create a patch which handles it. Now let's go to the other one. Let's see what the remove file can do, right? So let's write quickly the test. No, come on, figure it out. Oh, it already gives me something. So let's go one by one. So again, we have a delete file, and that's great. And then we have a mock remove, which does mocker.patch os.remove. So we have a sample code, which is our file name. So basically, it is patching the remove part of the OS, and so just letting you know. So the mock open was there for open, but we don't have anything for remove. I guess I may be wrong, so I'm just assuming going with patch. And then we have a remove file, which will try to actually call this function, right? Um, and it doesn't exist right now, so we'll skip that shortly. And then we mock remove.assert once called with file name. I don't know why one came here. It doesn't need it. So let's put back. Great, thank you, Copilot. So now we have this running. Okay, so let's run this once more and see what happens. Fast, great. So once again, we do not need the actual files, but we are able to patch or give a separate function, which also is a part of Mocker, to be able to handle it, right? So that's one example of it. Now we can also check assert not os.path.exist file name. Now we'll have to import OS here because we're trying to use it. So all we are doing is we are checking if at the end the file name should still not exist. So let's run that. Fast, great, awesome. That handles that. So we just did for some functions, but what if we want to mock a class, right? So I want to create a class. We can call it person. Okay, it's giving me a bunch of things. Let me just get everything and then I'll remove what I don't need. Um, so name, age, something, something. It it uh, it gets name, it gets age, it gets detail. I guess it's fine. Details with title. Oh, bro, that's amazing. It's a lot of data. Okay, let me remove just this one. Um, okay, there's a great class with a lot of things. I don't need all of this right now. I'm gonna remove. Just have three functions. Okay, and then we have what do you call? If we want to mock this class, so how can we test this, right? Well, let's not forget about testing. Let's think about how do you want to mock it if we want to use this as a class which doesn't do a lot more. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying right now. Okay, so let's try creating a test for it. Correct. So let's call a function. No, I don't want to test remove again. I want to test person. I want to test a person class. Okay, so it's it's just directly giving me a very simple scenario. Let me just import this as well. I think I can just do import person. Is that correct? Uh, oh, actually, can I do this? Okay, nice, right? So we are able to test everything with as it is coming. But now, if I want to mock this class, so we do person equals to John 30, which is great. Now, if I just do a mock response equals to, I can just do fake John is fake years old. So now I'm assuming that the response would be coming like this. So I can do as before, I can do mocker dot patch. Okay, it's already doing that. Okay, let me just put it down so that everyone can see properly. Um, I'm just zooming in because it's easier to see on the YouTube based on my previous videos. Not that anyone commented, but I'm sure people will later on. So I'm basically mimicking or mocking or patching what get details will show. So now I can just assert person.getDetails equals to mock response, which means that now it should match with what I am expecting it to give me rather than the previous scenario. Why is this not defined? What do you mean mocker is not there? Let me just run it. Oh, my bad. I didn't pass this in here, which is how it should be done. Passed. Great. So we just mocked a response, but the class was still being called as it was, but we are making sure that whatever the response it was expecting, we have faked it, and that's what we are trying to get. So it replaced the get details function with a mock that returns a predefined answer, right? Okay, moving on.